మనం మీరు మాట్లాడతాను కాలర్ బయటికి రావాలండి ఇప్పుడు వాయిస్ వస్తుంది కదా డౌట్లు అడుగుతారు కాలర్ మైక్ ఉండాలి కదా సార్ హలో హలో Hello. Hello. Sir, am I audible? Is muted. మీరు ఇక్కడ మాట్లాడతారు సార్ అదే అదే ఇది మాట్లాడితే వాళ్ళు అడగటానికి వెళ్తుందా వాళ్ళు అడగడానికి అక్కడి నుంచి మాట్లాడాలి వస్తుందా అని చెప్పలేదు ఇది క్యాప్చర్ అవుతుందా ఇది అవుతుంది సార్ ఆ వాయిస్ దీనికి క్యాప్చర్ అవుతుందని చెప్పలేదు దగ్గర ఉంటేనే అవుతుంది ఓకే హలో సార్ am I audible?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Sorry, you're audible now. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Where is
General RMPM stores.
You will do. Yes. You can sit here. No, you can start there. Sir, can we start? Hello.
Yeah, we can start, sir. Otherwise, we can take 5 more minutes. Not an issue.
Oh, no problem. We'll start off, sir.
Sure.
Workers area.
Yes.
What can I do is,
sir, we can have the session for around 40 minutes. Then we'll have question and answer session.
No problem, sir. So usually I want to make it more interactive.
Okay.
So I don't have anything to present. So I'll be just speaking for 15-20 minutes, and after that it will be open for questions.
We'll start it.
Sure.
Each layout is figured how koi vastu na kya hai. Principle same रहे, but दरेक changes. Group अलग है. अगर दरेक में कोई भी dimensions layout है, वास्तु प्रमाण के करने बाकी principle same है. Equipment में हमने confirm करी, equipment standard से कोई जगह कोई change. हम toilet facility ने क्या हो? ये toilet facility बाहर हो.
You can start.
Sir, are you audible?
Yeah, you're audible, ma'am.
Visitor also.
So we welcome you all to the guest lecture on career opportunities in supply chain. Good afternoon, sir, and a very good afternoon to everyone present here. We are cherished with the gracious presence of Mr.Rayapati Srinath Reddy, Vice President of Tata Consumer Products Limited. A very warm and hearty welcome to you, sir. Mr. Rayapati Srinath Reddy is endowed with a passion for winning and has 13 plus years of experience in supply chain management, logistics distribution and transportation, operations management, and team management skills in FMCG domain. He has hands-on experience in handling end-to-end supply chain and logistics operations, planning and controlling manpower, achieving the planned period schedule, and conducting critical analysis. He is also proficient in formulating suitable routes for the transportation of goods with no delay, implementing cost-effective initiatives, and negotiating and finalizing the contracts. He is also adroit in streamlining material planning and optimal inventory holding to warrant the availability of the right stocks at the right time and right place. He has a profound knowledge of ERP systems implementation. He is also a prolific thinker and able to handle a large team in supply chain management. He possesses a strong set of interpersonal communication, analytical, mentoring, and leadership skills. Sir, we are very privileged to be a part of this wonderful session to hear out such an inspiring personality at the art. Sir, we invite you to have the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for a wonderful introduction there. And so can someone confirm whether I'm audible?
Yes, no, yes, no.
Sir, you can start.
Yeah. So, am I visible to everyone, or how is the setup, sir?
Sir, actually, our students are sitting here.
Okay.
So you are speaking on Zoom. So they are lively present here, actually. So you can see them, some of these students.
Okay. Okay. That's great. Yeah. Right. So just give me 2 minutes, please. I will just set up the system. Just give me 2 minutes, please. Sorry for the inconvenience. Just give me 2 minutes, please.
Why the screen size is
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry for the inconvenience. So, like the room, we have this usual fight for the meeting rooms in the office. So that's where some of the people were still occupying the office, and that's what I was just waiting for them to clear the meeting room. Right. Sorry about that. So, am I audible? Can someone raise their hands or something and show that I am audible, please? Right. Thank you. So it's good to see that people are interested in the field of supply chain. So let me start with a brief introduction about myself. So I'm Srinath. People call me Srinath, even though I have a very long name like Rayapati Srinath Reddy. And I'm basically from, what can I say? Like I can say that I've been born and brought up in different parts of erstwhile Andhra Pradesh. So I'm basically from Nandyal of Rayalaseema part of Andhra Pradesh currently. And after that, due to my father's job, I can say that I was settled. I was mostly from 1st to 10th, I was in Adilabad district. And after that, for +1 and +2, what we call our intermediate, I was based out of Hyderabad. And after that, there was no looking back. I went to NIT Bhopal for engineering. After that, worked with TCS for some time, did my MBA from NITI. And after that, in the supply chain and operations, and finally, joined SR Group. Erstwhile was SR Group. There was no looking back. So regarding careers in supply chain, to be very frank, till the time I passed out of NIT Bhopal, I never thought that I'll be ending up in a field of supply chain. So I was totally drawn towards finance, the erstwhile finance, finance and financial models, etc. Or for that matter, I was thinking of doing something in marketing, because these are all the these creamy layers is what the misconception that we had. So once I joined TCS, worked as software engineer. While I was working as a software engineer there, like I was not satisfied with what was happening with me and my life there. So it was like basically like 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 job and a normal weekend. And there was no excitement basically. So you come, you code, you just plug in the code into the system, check whether there are any bugs or not. And after that, go back home and while over the time. So wanted to do something with my life. So that's when I got to see that we need to we need to go for higher education. And that's the reason I think most of the guys are also here. And that's when I thought I should be doing an MBA. So when I was deciding to do an MBA, so the next thought which came into my mind is why, which field basically? Is it going to be finance, marketing, supply chain? Being a mechanical engineer, I thought like supply chain, I will be able to do justice to supply chain in terms of operations, and operations research was one of the fields which attracted me a lot. So even if you today, even if you look at today, so in companies like Google or Microsoft, so operations research hold a very, very good place. So if you get specialized in operations research, these are some companies where they will offer you a blue seat for you in terms of the some of the top tech companies. And apart from that, there are different. If you talk about supply chain, there are different parts to that. So even we can talk about production operations. We can talk about operation research. As I was talking, there is logistics, there is warehousing, and then we have the analytics part of it. So I will take you through each one of this. So basically, this supply chain would include the operations as well. Operations, basically, whatever you're doing in terms of the production operations, and how efficiencies or inefficiencies that you can identify and eliminate the waste there. So that is about the operations management, etc., where you are onto the shop floor and manufacturing services are being managed by you and ensuring that inefficiencies are taken out of the system. Apart from that, like once you come out of that, there is a planning portion of it. So in planning portion, you can talk about demand management, demand forecasting, then production planning, then the RMPM planning, the procurement part of it. And post that, you come to the next leg of warehousing and logistics, basically. So these are the various legs that we have under supply chain management. So it's a very varied field. So you have a lot of opportunities. So the importance of supply chain has started across the globe. Recently, from March 2020, that is when COVID had started, because people have started realizing the importance of supply chain from them. Before that, it was only a part of one function in the scheme of things, and not much of, I can't say that importance was not being given, but not much of an importance or stress was being given at that point of time. So, but once COVID hit us across the globe, people started realizing the importance of inventory management, the importance of having a localized production, the logistics part of it, because a lot of things have been we have disconnected across the globes, and there were a lot of lockdowns, and we couldn't actually streamline the value chain across. So that's when the importance of supply chain has gone many folds. So from then onwards, the organizations have started investing on supply chains in terms of making them digital, and also ensuring that there is a visibility, real-time visibility across the supply chain. So a lot of global companies which were dependent upon different countries. For example, if I'll take the example of Apple. So Apple as a company was dependent much upon China for their phone assembly or the raw materials, etc. But because of the lockdowns, what happened was there was a break in the chain, and a lot of ships or containers got stuck at China ports, and there was no movement of goods, and their sales suffered. So that's when they realized the importance of having localized and break-free environments or a value chain to ensure that there is a free movement of goods across. So that's where, especially the logistics part of supply chain has got prominence. And people have got into business process reengineering and business continuity plans, BCP plans, and BPR plans to ensure that their plans are very solid. And if there are any calamities like this, or man-made calamities or natural calamities, be it earthquake or tsunamis, etc., they have the backup plans to ensure that their business continues. So that's the importance of having a supply chain or a value chain in a company. Okay, so that having talked about supply chain, if we talk about careers, so we have varied options in supply chain basically. So the first and foremost, as I was mentioning earlier, it will be the analytics part of it, because the other part might not be so exciting or so what can we say interesting regarding the supply chain, but analytics part of it. So we can utilize a lot of the data analytics part of it. Like we have big data, we can implement Python to ensure that your visibility, real-time visibility in terms of inventory, etc. So all this comes under supply chain analytics. And apart from that, the planning analytics part of it. So how much inventory needs to be maintained, how many warehouses have to be opened, and what is the kind of vehicles or the size of the vehicles that needs to be utilized. And all this can be done in a simple Excel sheet with the help of Python. So that's the beauty of the systems that are developing so fast. And this all comes under analytics. If we talk about some of the big tech companies as of now, like I was talking about Google or Microsoft or Amazons and Flipkarts of the world. So what do you think is driving this Amazon? For example, I'll take the example of Amazon. What is driving Amazon? Anyone? Sorry, I wanted to make it more interactive. So if someone can take a cue and answer, you might be wrong. That's okay. Like it's just interaction with you. So what is Amazon known for?
Speak louder.
Sorry, that's okay. I think we are having some technical difficulties there. That's okay. So Amazon is known for their what you call one-day deliveries currently, right? So it's about wherever they are making your life simple, and basically they are ensuring that the usage of technology, they're ensuring that whatever the products that you order are at your doorsteps within a period of less than 24 hours currently. In most of the major metros, you order in the morning before 2 o'clock, the product is at your doorstep by 6 o'clock. That's the speed of execution. That is all about the logistics part of it. Amazon is known for is simplifying the logistics in terms of using data analytics, by using data analytics. So how is this possible? Just to give an algorithm at the back end of Amazon is that they try to understand basis their sales data, previous sales data, or your sales data. What are your preferences? Basically, when you log into Amazon, what are the products that you love to purchase, or what are you looking at? Basically, your browsing history also. If you Google something, that is also picked up by Amazons or Flipkarts. So Amazon and Flipkarts are known for their data accumulation. It is not apart from the usual supply chain dominance that they have. The other prominent thing that they have is the data. So that's where the data analytics come into picture, or supply chain analytics come into picture. So once any person, for example, Srinath logs into a system and he's searching for something. So I want to search for a smartwatch. So or a Google Pixel, basically Google Pixel 7, which is recently released. So once I start searching, reading about the reviews, etc. So once I log into Amazon, they ensure that basis the cookies or your system browsing history, they try to show that they have the Google Pixel with them. For Amazon might not be having, but for this hypothetically, let's assume that they have Google Pixel with them, and they start showing it on your homepage. Okay, so that's the beauty of data analytics. So they try to gain your attention at the point where your attention is maximum. So once they show it on your home screen, you start clicking on that, and you get drawn to that, and you start browsing Amazon, and you'll buy something or the other. And they base that they'll keep advertising about the discounts that they have. Every day there will be discounts. For example, Myntra has everyday discount. It is not that they are providing the discounts every day, but their model is that they say that they have discount, but they mark up the prices accordingly. So that's all marketing gimmicks, etc. So all these online places have a beautiful supply chain system, which is backed up by data analytics. So that's where the importance of careers in supply chain comes in. So whoever gets into Amazon, they are very strong in their supply chain. So if I talk about my colleagues who are in Amazon currently, they are from the field of supply chain. Most of them, almost 80% of them, if you look at the people who are in Amazon, who are leading the bigger, like the top positions are from supply chain basically. Okay, so that's the importance that the companies are assorting or are resorting for the supply chain. So having said that, so I'll make it more open to you guys. So nothing to say or discuss regarding supply chain. So I'll open the floor for you guys. So if I have any specific questions in terms of career, so I have a span of almost like 13 years. So I have been in like commodities like SR. I worked with Pepsi for some time in terms of foods and beverages, and I was with ITC for a brief time. Then I was with Britannia for some time, and I'm currently with Tata Consumer. So nevertheless, so I have done some research and I've given talks at various forums, etc. So with the kind of interactions that I had with the industry stalwarts, I will try to answer your queries to the best of my possibilities. Okay, so open for you all guys. So whatever the questions, anything under the sun, anything regarding the careers in supply chain, you can ask me. I'll try to answer your questions. I'm really sorry that it's a post-lunch session for you and most of you might be feeling sleepy, but I'll try to ensure that I'll make it more engaging for you guys.
Sir, can people from non-software background get into the supply chain department? Like who can only handle the MS Office, but no coding knowledge?
Can someone repeat that for me, because there is a echo and I couldn't read it properly.
And non-software people, they have entry into supply chain. Those who are just well-versed with Microsoft. So
yeah,
no.
anyone, it is not, there is no restriction, entry barrier to be into supply chain. So it's only the passion that you carry that makes the difference. So supply chain as such is more about management of people. It starts with management of people and resources. So that's what supply chain is all about. So there is no entry barrier restriction that you need to be having a software background, etc.
So another question. So what are the career options available for freshers, people who have not studied supply chain management, but with some marketing subjects?
Right, sir. So there are a lot of opportunities. Like supply chain is one thing, is one area which open its arms for anyone, like be it be experienced person or a fresher, basically. So freshers, for that matter, they can start with planning. So be it be RMPM planning or a production planning in the scheme of things, or otherwise they can be, as I was saying, so supply chain is all about managing the resources, be it be machines, man, money, and method. So this all 4 M's is what supply chain is basically all about. So any fresher can start with a method, which is basically the planning. It requires some logic, and once they understand the logic and the business sense, they can start with the planning part of it. And supply chain is one area where you can, freshers are always welcome.
What are the certifications that we have to get into supply chain?
So what are the certifications that may help student to get into supply chain management?
Right. So
other than MBA program.
Sure, sir. So apart from see, supply chain and finance are two fields where you have a lot of certifications across. So there is no dearth of certifications across. So if I talk very specifically about supply chain, we have this organization called APIX. So this is based out of US, and they have they offer you a lot of good certifications in supply chain. They have CSCP, which is the epitome of supply chain certification. Basically, once you do a CSCP, you are deemed to be a father of supply chain, in the sense you know everything about supply chain and you keep yourself abreast with the latest trends in supply chain. The programs or certifications of APEX are such that you need to renew your certifications every 5 years. So they have the point system where you need to earn those points, then only your supply chain certification will be invalid. Otherwise, that the supply chains, the certifications are valid for 5 years. If you're not able to maintain the points, they will expire. So that way they keep you, they ensure that along with certification, you are glued to the latest happenings in supply chain field. And if I talk about certifications, we have CPIM, CSCP, CLTD, and there is a demand-based supply planning kind of thing, and there is a procurement-based supply planning. These are the certifications which are offered by APEX. And there is a online program which is started by MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, US again. So they have this MITx certification, which is spread across 5 modules, and it is a student-based course. So it is not that it is an online course where you can log in and study at your own pace, but your weekend assignments and your exams has to be taken on the particular dates. And basis that, it will take usually 1.5 years to 2 years if you are able to finish all the modules. And there is a final comprehensive exam which comprises of all these 5 modules. So then you will be called a MicroMaster in MITx. So these are the 2 major certification programs that are available. So once you make this, once you get the certifications done, so people recognize that you are one of the pioneers in supply chain.
Okay, another question, sir. What are the growth prospects for an MBA fresher to grow up in terms of career ladder in supply chain management?
Right, sir. So that's a great question, sir. I was expecting this question. So I will get into advice mode before answering that question. So being a fresher, see, I'm from NITI. So I have gone into NITI with an experience of almost 2 years, that too in software. And having a software experience, I was looking something which is not related to software, which is basically a supply chain operations kind of a field. Okay, so there were companies on the campus like Cognizant. We had Microsoft, we had Google for some time. So, so there are a plethora of opportunities there, but it depends on you where you want to go. So the advice to the younger self or the freshers here is that you have to keep your mind open and be very clear where you want to go. So don't go by the packages or the CTC that is being offered by a company. So for example, Cognizant offers at my time, it was way back in 2009, Cognizant was offering a good package. So I have my colleagues who joined Cognizant at that point of time who are drawn to CTC, and I have joined a company which is supply chain enriched or operations enriched like SR. So when we compare our career paths over the last 13, 14 years, we could see that my career path has been very fruitful. And I am satisfied with what I'm doing. When I talk to him, he's stuck at a senior principal kind of a consultant position at Cognizant, and he's doing the same desk job, what he has been doing some 10 years back. So choose your career path very wisely, in the sense like where you want to be, and don't be disheartened if you're not getting placed or the companies are not visiting the campus at that point of time. So always keep yourself, always sharpen your skills and make yourself knowledgeable. So, and be ready and be market ready. Don't expect that. So once I get placed into a company, that is the end of it. So once you get placed into a company of your choice, then you need to fight a lot after that to keep that particular position. There is an internal, once you get into the company, there are internal politics which happen. Then you need to keep performing, and you need to be a top performer to ensure that you get that particular salary increases, etc. So don't have this demarcation between freshers or experienced, and be very clear where you want to be. Get a clear career path. Talk to industry stalwarts. You can email me also separately where you have a specific path for that. I will take some time to respond, but I will respond surely. So be very clear where you want to be and work towards that. For if you want to be in supply chain analytics, you need to work towards Python as a programming language, or a big data analytics. You need to understand, and you need to understand supply chain as a profile as such. So that is the basic steps, and start working towards that. So you might not get into a company of your choice initially, but finally you will get there.
Okay, another question, sir. How many years of functional experience is required to do a course in SAP SCM? So for a fresher, how many years of functional experience is required to get into SAP SCM?
It depends on the candidates. So there are some freshers who already get into SAP SCM because they have a textbook knowledge about what SCM is all about, and they can, with knowledge of SAP, then they are able to do wonders in SAP SCM field. And there are some people who work for 3-4 years, and it depends on the grasping power and the command that you have over the scheme of things. So once you have that command, they can do wonders in SAP SCM. It's all about applying your SCM knowledge, or theoretical knowledge of it, or the business knowledge of it, and in ensuring that the ERP responds to that particular business process customization, basically. So it's all about customizing SAP SCM to suit to the company or the consulting you are doing for the particular client. That depends on that. So it doesn't matter whether you're a fresher or experienced. You just need to have the domain knowledge. That's all.
What's your question?
Once you learn that SAP logistics platform, it is easy to adapt general logistics. Like if you want to get to SAP logistics.
Generally, SAP, and I gave a lot of do that. Sir, if someone with functional knowledge did SAP SCM and he is working in SAP SCM, is it possible to go back to core function again?
They can, so it is usually like, I don't want to sound very pessimistic here. Usually what happens is once you choose a career path, like for example, SAP SCM, it's a very niche path, basically the niche career path. So once you embark on that, so people expect that you embark on that particular journey and you take it to a culmination. But if you want to come back to a core, but I'm sorry to say that, but you need to forgo some of your experience there. So if you have experience of 5 years and you want to come back to the core, you will not be termed a 5 years experience guide. Might be they will be ascertaining the subject knowledge that you have equivalent to almost 2 to 3 years, and they treat you accordingly. That's the only difference. But otherwise, it is always, you can jump from one stream to another stream of supply chain, and you can always be gaining knowledge and working towards that.
So one of the questions, sir, what is go-to-market strategy? People are talking about GTM.
Right. So a go-to-market strategy varies from company to company. So for example, I'll talk about the companies that I worked for. For example, I worked in Pepsi, and I worked in Britannia, and I'm working in Tata Consumer Products. Okay. So go-to-market strategy is the strategy which is implemented, strategized, or the strategy which is taught through by the company to ensure that they have the competitive advantage in the market, basically. So all the beverage companies like Pepsi or the Coke will have two different go-to-market strategies, because both are selling beverages, but their GTM, we call it GTM basically in the parlance. So the GTMs will be different. So in the time frame, for example, this year, the go-to-market strategy is some X. Next year, it might be some Y. So it is all linked back to the short-term goals and the medium-term goals which the company is driving. For example, Pepsi, way back in 2016 or 2013-14, it wanted to become a leader in both foods and beverages. That way, the GTM was strategized in such a way that Pepsi, through its foods, like basically the Frito-Lay or the Lay's as a brand, and Pepsi as a beverage brand, want to go together into the market and give delight to the consumer. That was a go-to-market strategy for the company at that point of time. But once that particular strategy didn't work for Pepsi, it went back to the two-prong strategy. Basically, I will pitch food separately and I'll pitch beverages separately, and that way the beverages has become a franchise. The beverages has been sold as a franchise to Varun Beverages currently. So that way, go-to-market strategy is a strategy which is used by the company to get a competitive edge in the market. In terms, it has the thongs of pricing. It might be a pricing strategy. It might be the marketing strategy for them. What kind of marketing target audience that they are looking at? They want to specifically target some some part of the population. That is also becomes a part of go-to-market strategy, and also the population of the distributors they want to actually target to, whether it is a big distributor, a small distributor, or a metro where they want to target, whether it is a metro or more than 2 lakh population towns or rural areas. So this all becomes a part of the strategy, and that is what is called a go-to-market strategies.
Sir, one of the question, we are seeing a lot of disruptions in FMCG products distribution.
Right.
So what is the role of corporates in handling these disruptions? So today, retailer, even distributors are not aware where from he is buying. A lot of B2B retailers are pushing products to these retailers. So what is, how corporates are going to handle these distributor disruptions happening in the market?
Right, sir. So I'll take it as two parts, sir. So one thing is about the disruptions in the actual supply chain. So I was thinking that I would answer from a COVID perspective or the business continuity plan perspective. So once the COVID hit us and a lot of companies were unaware what was happening. And when the COVID hit us, I was with Britannia. So Britannia had this policy of localized manufacturing. So if you look at their manufacturing footprint, they almost have 55 factories across the country, own factories, which is a combination of both. Own factories are around 16 and balance are co-manufacturing locations. And that way they have created a localized setup. Basically, all the brands are available within a localized. For example, if I talk about Telangana, most of the plants are located in and around Hyderabad, etc., so that all the brands are available within the reachable distance of that particular location. So Telangana is self-sufficient in all the brands for Britannia. Similarly, Andhra, similarly Tamil Nadu, etc. That's way that by setting up a distributed manufacturing setup, Britannia was able to overcome the disruptions which are caused by COVID. So this is a part of this was set up as a part of the business continuity plan. So all the companies do a risk assessment, basically in terms of natural calamities or man-made calamities, and they basis that risk assessment, they come up with a BCP, business continuity plan. And in the business continuity plan, they talk about all these things. What should be the strategy when if there is a tsunami? Will there be disruption of business? If there is a COVID next time, again, one more wave comes in. So what should be our strategy? So is there any disruptions in terms of supply, etc.? All these are charted out and been discussed at least once in a quarter and ensure that they have these backup plans. That is about the COVID part. And if you talk about B2B wholesalers, like we talk about a lot of players are into the market like Udaan, etc., which are disrupting the retailers basically. So companies realize, for example, I'm talking about Tata Consumer. I can vouch for Tata Consumer, saying that we ensure that the B2B doesn't disrupt the retailers or the distributors currently, because mostly if you talk about any company, so almost like 80 to 85% is general trade. Usually the distributors or the realtors or the brick and mortar distributors. The balance is online or the modern trade or the B2B, etc., etc. So B2B is able to disrupt the marketplace, and it has been gaining the news. It is churning out news because they get some good discounts from the companies, because companies also want to discard their inventory. They want to keep their inventory thin, and they give it to B2B at a discount, and they in turn churn this extra inventory into the markets, affecting the distributors. So, but companies have realized that this is not going to work in the long term, and they have kept a certain percentage. They have fixed a certain percentage of the business will be only through B2B, and balance, major chunk of it, mostly in terms of in the upwards of 80%, will be through the brick and mortar, and they will not be increasing those percentage, affecting the business, because B2B might be a short-term strategy for them, but in the long term, it is going to be the brick and mortar distributors who have given the blood and sweat for the company.
And
good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
As year on year, the supply chain industry is growing, right?
Right.
But however, the technical skills, technical knowledge also coming like AI and ML into this industry. So, is there any chance that job losses for the non-core people, like non-tech people, into this industry? Like whenever the AI and ML take over in the few years, so there will be there any job losses who are not aware of these skills and knowledge?
No, I would say simply I'll say no. It will not affect the jobs, etc. This is the usual thing, misconception which people have, that whenever there's a technology which comes into the picture, there'll be job losses, or there'll be cut down of resources, etc. But I would say the other way, when a new technology comes in, it creates more job opportunities basically. So because people invest in understanding and training their people for AI and ML. If I talk about FMCG company or any other company, they are still in the nascent stages of adapting AI and ML. For if I talk about FMCG, we are trying to create a twin supply chain. Basically, I hope you understand the twin. A twin is a concept where I have a physical supply chain and I recreate the same supply chain in virtually, in the sense. So if I disrupt any physical supply chain, the same thing is being seen in the virtual supply chain. That is called a twin supply chain. And this is possible with the help of ML and AI to some extent. Okay. So it doesn't mean that whoever is associated with the physical supply chain has to undergo job loss, because they will be doing their own jobs, but it will create more opportunities for the people to create a digital supply chain or the twin supply chain to ensure and have a real-time visibility of what is happening in the supply chain. So that way, I'm pretty sure and I'm 100% confident that it will not lead to any job loss. It is going to create only a parallel thing for the tech people, and who has this a parallel thing for the tech savvy people to get into the supply chain. That's all.
So one more question, sir.
Yeah.
What are the current challenges in the supply chain industry right now, and what is the challenges that Tata is facing right now?
See, if I talk about supply challenges, there are a lot of challenges. If we talk, I can't list all of them, but I'll talk about the top two. The first thing is the inflation. Because of the Ukraine-Russia war, there is a lot of inflation across the globe, and the oil prices are going up, the commodity prices are going up, the availability of juices or the resins, etc., or the availability of oil, etc., has shot up like anything, and that is putting a lot of stress on the margins, because any company will be able to survive only if it makes margins in the market. So inflation is one of the biggest challenges, and the second thing is about retaining a top talent. It is in terms of the resources, retaining top talent, because there is a lot of depth of good talented people, in the sense like good skilled people, I can say that, because you're talking about AI, ML. There are people, there's a lot of requirement of people who are tech savvy in supply chain, basically, who know data analytics in terms of big data, or who is very good at advanced Excel skills, or who can program in Python, etc. So these are all analytical tools which are pretty much required for the people into supply chain currently. So once these people are getting trained and acquiring the skills, they are much sought out in the market. Not only about supply chain, any other industry, the current thing is the current challenge that they're facing is attrition. Okay, so there has been a shift. For example, so once we came back from COVID, we were getting the people were getting back to the offices. So people were not interested to come back to the offices. That was one challenge at that point of time. I'm talking about the specific about the human resources that I'm talking about. The second challenge that we are facing. So they didn't want to come back to the offices. They were very they got accustomed to this hybrid work kind of a model, or a location independent kind of a model, and some people didn't come back and they resigned. So that was one thing. And the second thing which they got is moonlighting, basically. So apart from working for the company, they were working for other companies also. Mostly, you might have heard about Wipro, an example. So some people were working for Wipro and they were working for the competitors also at the same time. So the hybrid model or the remote working made it possible for them. And there is called one more concept called quiet quitting, basically. So if you don't like coming back to the office, you come back, but you will not be performing to your maximum potential. So basically, you will get back to the office, but you will not be performing to the 100% potential, and you'll be finding ways and means of quitting, basically. So you'll be quietly quitting, and even the HR will not know what is happening with that particular resource. Okay, and the final thing is the great attrition, basically. So all this leads to great attrition. So what happened is, because of this trends that are in the market, the HR people have overstaffed themselves, because they didn't know whether some of the people will come back. Some people are moonlighting, some people are quite quitting. So they have overstaffed themselves, and suddenly now they're realizing they have too many people back into the system, and they are firing people. You might have heard about Twitter. Twitter is an example, is an exception there, but you would have heard about Meta, basically. So one of the good tech companies which are there. So to answer in a nutshell, basically the inflation and the attrition, human resource attrition, are the two major challenges which are plaguing the companies. And Tata Consumer is not an exception for all this. Tata Consumer is also is going through the same thing, because there is a lot of stress on inflation. Because of this, we are not able to make margins to keep the business profitable, and the human resource attrition is also on a higher side. And because of which some of the projects which were started are getting delayed because of the absence of the required people with skills. So these are the two challenges. Yeah.
So the final question is, like you said, inflation is the one thing, right? We don't have control over it. But what is Tata is doing to bring down the attrition rate?
So they are coming up with a lot of employee-friendly policies, basically. So they are offering hybrid work models. Basically, if you look at our office itself, so I'm at free. So there is no compulsion for me to walk into office, because I had this session, so I'm in office today. But otherwise, For the rest of the week, I'll work from home. So there is no compulsion that I have to work at office. So that the hybrid work model has been given to us. And we are a part of Tata Group. So we have a plethora of companies with us. So we have been given discounts on CureFit. Basically, you know CureFit, right? CureFit gyms, which have come up in metros, basically. So we have been given discount coupons in those, so that we can go and if you are a fitness freak, you can go to that. And Tata sponsors a lot of marathons every weekend. So people who are interested, they can go to get sponsored for the marathon runs, etc. And apart from that, we have this discounts which comes from Chroma, basically. Chroma is a part of Tata again. So the employee discounts will come there. So like this, so they are giving a lot of discount coupons to keep the people engaged and ensure that even though they are not looking at the CTC or the pay packages, the other emoluments that they'll be getting being a part of Tata Group. That way they are able to ensure that they're part. 10 more minutes, please. 10 minutes. Yeah. So that way they are able to retain a lot of people. So any other question?
Oh, sir, can you take?
Sir, one last question.
Sure, sir.
So for an MBA fresher to work in supply chain management,
right?
Which sector is a better option to work in FMCG or consumer durables manufacturing, like cement, steel? So which supply chain management understanding SCM in which sector would add advantage for the fresher?
So it depends on the dynamics of that particular sector. So if to give an example about my career, I started with SR. So it's basically a dormant kind of a thing where the forecast comes for almost like we forecast for 6 months. So I give a forecast 6 months in advance and wait for the material to come in. So it might come in or not come in. So I need to have a visibility of my WIP, work in progress material, across 6 months. That is not dynamic. So that's when I thought like I have to go to FMCG, which is a fast moving consumer goods. So then I got an opportunity with Pepsi. I joined Pepsi. So it was very good. In the sense like I was very happy that I got into FMCG and I was able to apply the concepts basically. Most of the supply chain concepts are pretty much written keeping in mind the FMCG is what I would say. That's my personal opinion. Okay. So all the dynamics and the concepts are applicable for FMCG here. But once the FMCG is slowly losing its dynamism in the sense like to e-commerce basically. So e-commerce basically Amazon and Flipkarts are even more dynamic than FMCG because whatever the shelf life or the what I can talk about is order to cash cycle in FMCG is almost like 7 to 8 days. In terms of Amazon, it is 1 or 2 days basically. And if you talk about quick commerce, now e-commerce is being replaced by quick commerce. Like for example, Swiggy or the Zeptos of the world, they have made it even more dynamic with the advent of quick commerce. Basically, the life cycle, the order to cash cycle is just within half an hour to 1 hour. Basically, that's a kind of dynamics that is getting played. So, in order to answer specifically, we can say that first of all, during the initial phase of your career, please ensure that in whatever sector you are getting into, be very strong. Keep learning as a first and foremost thing. Don't be bogged down with that I got into a different sector. I will not be eligible for other sectors. You are always welcome for that, but you have to keep on learning. You should be a student for life and ensure that you should keep yourself abreast with the latest technologies in supply chain. So that's what I keep on talking about. I'm trying to get in the technology part of it towards supply chain. So you need to be adverse, you need to be conversant with advanced Excel skills. You need to have a say in Python. You need to understand what big data analytics is all about. So all these technologies or all these softwares will help you enhance your skills, basically. So be a student for life is what I can say. So don't get bogged down by in which sector which is required. But in order to, it depends on your character, basically, whether you'll be able to take the stress and strain that each sector provides you. So if you are a normal person, you don't want a strain-free or stress-free life. If you want a stress-free life, choose a sector which is commodity basis. So if you are a moderate kind of a risk guy, so you can go for a FMCG. But you are very dynamic. You want to take changes on a day-to-day basis, and you can resolve anything. And you are very dynamic, and you can go for quick commerce or e-commerce. That way, depending upon your personality, choose your field and go forward it. But only thing, the crux of it is be a student for life and keep learning.
Okay, sir. We'll conclude now.
Sure.
We would like to thank Mr. Rayapati Srinath Reddy Garu for his time and the valuable information shared to us. We shall definitely implement our learning from this lecture in making our professional journey much more amazing. We thank our Dean Professor Amit Bhadra sir, the Head of Operations Dr. U.V. Adinarayana sir, and Dr. T. Venkateshwarlu sir for their guidance in organizing the seminar. Lastly, we also thank our dear audience for their patience, learning, and active participation. Thank you, sir.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for the wonderful opportunity. Looking forward for more.
You share the recording to us later.
Sure. We'll do that. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.